Welcome on Easy Learning. Now we are going to cover next question of BPC-001. It is question number 5. Discuss B.F Skinner's theory of learning. Its answer is in this way given. B.F Skinner's theory is based on operant conditioning. The organism is in the process of operating on the environment, which is ordinary terms means it is bouncing around its world, doing what it does. During this operating, the organism encounter a special kind of a stimulus called a reinforcing stimulus or simply a reinforcer. This special stimulus has the effect of increasing the operant, that is the behavior occurring just before the reinforcer. This is operant conditioning. The behavior is followed by a consequence, and the nature of the consequence modifies the organism's tendency to repeat the behavior in the future. Skinner conducted research on shaping behavior through positive and negative reinforcement and demonstrated operant conditioning, a behavior modification technique which he developed in contrast with classical conditioning. His idea of the behavior modification technique was to put the subject on a program with steps. The steps would be setting goals, which would help you determine how the subject would be changed by following the steps. The program design is designing a program that would help the subject to reach the desired state. Then implementation and evaluation, which is putting the program to use and then evaluating the effectiveness of it. In this theory, a rat, a cage and food are taken for experiment. A rat is placed in a special case that has a bar or pedal on one wall that when pressed causes a little mechanism to release a food pellet into the air. The rat is moving around the cage when it accidentally presses the bar, and as a result of pressing the bar, a food pellet falls into the cage. The operant is the behavior just prior to the reinforcer, which is the food pellet. In a relatively short period of time, the rat learns to press the bar whenever it wants food. This leads to one of the principles of operant conditioning. A behavior following a reinforcing stimulus results in an increased probability of that behavior occurring in the future. If the rat presses the bar and continually does not get food, the behavior becomes extinguished. This leads to another of the principles of operant conditioning. A behavior no longer followed by the reinforcing stimulus results in a decreased probability of that behavior occurring in the future. Now, if you were to turn the pellet machine back on so that pressing the bar again provides the rat with pellet, the behavior of bar pushing will come right back into existence much more quickly than it took for the rat to learn the behavior the first time. This is because the return of the reinforcers takes place in the context of a reinforcement history that goes all the way back to the very first time the rat was reinforced for pushing on the bar. This leads to what are called the schedules of reinforcement.